Hello, a very good evening. Welcome to tonight's News Focus, live and direct from our studios here on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. Between now to 10 p.m. as the focus is on news, where we look at all the latest story we pick, that which has made headlines, and then we give you the opportunity to also join us and let's have a conversation together. My name is El Samuels, your regular host, and let's pick a snipe of it, of what's happening. And in other stories, the Ghana cedi holds at 10.92 Ghana cedis to the US dollar. On today, January 29, the Bank of Ghana has lowered its policy rate from 18% to 15.5% as inflation falls. Ghana's economy is on track, but vigilance is still needed, according to the Bank of Ghana. Supreme Court has ruled that Yin Nam remains the MP for Kwandai. Ghana has sealed a deal with China to subcharge its 24-hour economy. So the 24-hour economy has got some backing from the Chinese government. The Ghana Journalists Association has raised alarm over escalating attacks and threats against journalists. MPP has also initiated a process to expel Professor Kwabena Frimpong from the party. The Supreme Court overturned a ruling that annulled the elections of Kwandai MP. 5 candidates have been approved to contest the Ayawaso East NDC parliamentary primaries. Ghana's gold reserve declined to 18.6 tons in December 2025. And there's a big baffling question. Government has signed a $2 billion Jubilee gas deal to cut prices and raise outputs. Aisho Speed visits to Ghana, where he was given an account name, Brema Kofi Akufo. The Ghana Journalists Association petitioned the IGP over escalating threats to journalists in Boko. And these are some of the stories that has made headline. Meanwhile, the NDC sets December 19, 2026 for National Delegate Conference to elect new leaders. Every city spent returned 20 times over. OSP shut down critics. Ensure peaceful presidential primaries. Christian Council urges the NPP. SML contracts were secured through self-serving official patronage. OSP. NDC set November 14, 2026 for regional elections. Extension attack on OSP undermines Ghana's anti-corruption fight. Kisi Ajaben. Special prosecutor slam unfair parliamentary bid to abolish the OSP. Ghana's cocoa farmers says they have not been paid since this November last year. What is going on in the cocoa industry? 053-715-8638 is the numbers. You can also join us and have a conversation with us. And tonight's news focus. OSP trial of Oforiatta 7 others has been joined to February 26th. Now we're moving on to other stories that has made headline tonight's news focus. The rural banks will be converted into community banks by the March 31st. All existing rural banks have been earmarked, directed to convert into community bank by 31st March 2026, as the Bank of Ghana rolls out a sweeping overhaul of the country's microfinance. The BOG explained why Ghana's gold holding dropped sharply by 18 tons. Ghana's gold holdings have fallen from 37.1 tons to 18.6 tons between September and December 2025. But the decline, according to the Bank of Ghana, is not a loss of the national asset, but an adjustment following a deliberate and prudent reserves management strategy. The governor, Dr. Johnson Axiama, explained that at a point, the gold accounted for more than 40% of Ghana's total international reserves, significantly higher than the 20 to 25% benchmark observed among many peer economies. Therefore, to reduce the concentration risk and also strengthen raw reserve resilience, the central bank took a decision to rebalance the portfolio by converting part of the gold holding into foreign exchange. He added that the proceeds from the conversion remains fully within Ghana's international reserves and are being actively invested to support reserves accumulation and generate returns. And this, the Bank of Ghana clarified, is a shift in the composition of reserves rather than depletion of the national wealth, noting that effective reserve management requires periodic adjustment in response to market conditions and risk exposures. So the Ghana's gold dropped to that level at which a lot of eyebrows has been raised with regards to this matter. Away from the gold border and it matters, UTAC UDS Ghana Tertiary Education better off without GTech boss. The University of Development Studies branch of University Teachers Association of Ghana UTACs says that Ghana's tertiary education system would improve if Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi were removed. Luxurious homes, vehicles and fuel station breakdown of OSP asset seizure. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has disclosed that it has secured a massive windfall for the state, recovering millions in cash, seizing a high-value portfolio of luxury asset, fuel station, a prime real estate during the latter half of 2025. According to the OSP half-yearly report, July to December 2025, the Office Anti-Corruption Drive has resulted in the following asset recovery. The OSP has successfully redirected substantial sums back to the state treasury, including a $2 million recovered for the Minerals Income Investment Fund, MIIF, 8.518 million recovered from investigation into the diversion of petroleum products, 991,995 cash seized during the arrest and investigation of suspects in the high-profile cases, the Republic vs. Mustafa Hamid and 9 others. In the rare estate and commercial assets, it is the largest seizure to date. The OSP took control of an extensive list of commercial and residential properties primarily linked to the National Petroleum Authority NPA extortion and money laundering. 4 fuel stations located in Dansuma, Abeka, La Paz, Millennium City, Kaswa, along with 23 fuel tanker trucks. Luxurious residential building, a 2-story mansion in East Lagos valued 12.7 million Ghana cedis. A 2-story building in Ajingan valued at 10 million Ghana cedis. A 6-unit block of building in Agboba valued at 10 million. High-end apartment, multiple units in Accra, most prestigious development, including the Signature, the Lexon, the Factory, and then the address with value ranging from 1.4 million to 3.5 million Ghana cedis per unit. Strategic land parcels, massive loots of lands in Tamale Hacho, Adenta, and Kumasi value collectively in the tens of millions of cedis. Luxurious car fleet. As part of the investigation into the MIIF, the OSP seized a fleet of world-class luxury vehicles with a total estimate value of 18.6 million. The fleet include Mercedes-Benz Brabus 800 SW, Rolls-Royce Maxwell Phantom SC, Mercedes-Benz Maybach X680 SC, Toyota Land Cruiser, and also Lexus models. The Office of the Special Prosecutor also commended the President, John Dramani Mahama, for his decisive action in calling for the withdrawal of the private members' bill that sought to repeal the office and transfer its powers to the Attorney General. Now let's move to look at some other story this evening. Africa is being urged to invest in manufacturing, skills and infrastructure to boost the economic growth and also development. The President, John Dramani Mahama, emphasized the need for economic transformation, saying freedom without economic transformation is incomplete. Let's take a listen to Mrs. Sam Jonah, where several summits and events are being held in Africa to promote and invest, trade and investment.
It is our shield, indeed it is our sword. It forges resilience where value is captured locally, skills are honed, technology is mastered, and prosperity withstands commodity cycles and external shocks. Without it, ladies and gentlemen, we remain suppliers to the world, feeding the beast that grow stronger whilst we grow weaker. Prime Minister Kane's words cut to the bone. The world is in rapture. It is not in transition. Institutions like the WTO and the UN are crumbling as great powers exploit vulnerabilities. For Africa, this means our raw materials fuel electric cars in distant factories, our cocoa sweetens chocolates branded abroad, our oil powers engines we don't build. We capture crumbs while others feast on the value. Global politics, ladies and gentlemen, amplifies this injustice. Tariffs from superpowers trap us in low value chains. Conflicts disrupt our supplies, and coercion from afar dictates our terms. But herein lies the opportunity. Kane challenges us with middle powers must unite, build coalitions, and assert control. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa, with its 1.4 billion people, with its vast resources and youthful dynamism, is no weakling. We are the emerging force that can redefine the table, or we will risk being served upon it. This is the moment for Africa to be selfish, unapologetically so, boldly selfish in pursuing our interests. No more deference to distant agendas, no more exporting raw material potential while importing finished dependency. Selfish means prioritizing. Africa first, beneficiating our minerals on African soil, processing our agriculture into global demands, manufacturing pharmaceuticals that secure our health sovereignty. Selfish means demanding fair terms in every deal, rejecting exploitation disguised as aid, and leveraging our collective weight to negotiate from strength. Kane urged middle powers to stop pretending about the other's flaws, to name realities and act. Africa, let us name it. The old world profited from our fragmentation. The new world demands our unity. Let's be selfish, yes, but in a way that uplifts all Africans, creating jobs that dignify, wealth that recirculates, and futures that inspire. To achieve this, ladies and gentlemen, we must turn inward, fiercely inward-looking, harnessing our own strength rather than chasing external validation. After the African Continental Free Trade Area, it's not just a treaty. It is our lifeline, our fortress in this ruptured world. Yet, for far too many years, it has lingered as aspiration, not action. We must wake up. We must implement after with ruthless urgency, harmonize standards across borders, streamline customs that bleed time and money, build infrastructure that connects our markets, and enforce rules that protect African producers. Just imagine, a truck laden with Nigerian textiles rolling seamlessly to Kenyan factories. Ghanaian cocoa transformed into Ethiopian chocolates, exported continent-wide. South Africa tech innovating for North Africa energy grids. This inward focus isn't isolation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is empowerment. As Kane described Canada's path, let's cut barriers, diversify, invest in homegrown strength. For Africa, after is the path, creating a market of scale that attracts investment, reduces dependencies, and positions us as shapers, not suppliers. Delay no longer. The new world awaits for no.
Well, so you had Sam Jonah, talking about the African program. Remember, this project is being done here in Accra, the African Trade Summit, urging Africans to invest in manufacturing skills and infrastructure. Looking forward to see how African can turn this around whilst we build on the skill, we build on infrastructure, we build on our people, and we make sure that we get to the level we aspire to be as people, as we sojourn for God and for country. Away from the African Trade Summit, Patrick Boama, a member of parliament for Okaigwe Central, is urging the Bank of Ghana to stop injecting foreign exchange into the economy, allowing the cedi to adjust naturally to reflect its true value. He believes this move would save the country significant funds that could be used for development projects, citing the $10 billion already spent in stabilizing the cedi as excessive. Boama argues that constant intervention masks the underlying economic problems and creates a false sense of stability. He notes that despite official claims of low inflation, prices of goods and services continue to rise, indicating a disconnect between economic data and reality. The Bank of Ghana responded to the concerns over the cedi depreciation, stating that January movements are normal and the country's fundamentals remain strong. The cedi has lost 4% of its value against the US dollars in the first month of 2026, trading at 10 Ghana cedis 92 pesos to the US dollar. Now let's take a listen to the Member of Parliament for Okaigwe Central.
So how much is government spending to hold the currency?
So far, $10 billion.
That's a lot of money. I think if government had allowed the economy to run, we could have had some savings through these interventions for other projects. I believe sincerely, I'm not an economist, I'm speaking as a layperson. Because why would you hold your currency if there are practical or proven policies or measures that has kept the economy strong? Why wouldn't you allow it to run on its legs?
Okay.
Rather than holding the currency with $10 billion. What is the cost of that to the state? And what is the cost of that vis-a-vis our developmental needs and challenges? Those are the questions you must
So the Bank of Ghana should stop intermediating.
Yes, the economy must run on its legs. The economy must be allowed to run on its legs so that we know where we are, rather than putting the economy on steroids. Because if you tell me that the economy is good, inflation is at 5%, yet prices are not stable, they keep changing, that means there's a problem, there's a disconnect.
Okay.
How much is a bottle of water now? You understand? As against the time that inflation was a bit high. So people look at certain commodities or items on the market and compare with the inflationary figures that are being bandied about. And also cost of living. Why is it that the drivers are being arrested? Because they pick you here, drop you here. There are issues that we need to understand as against economic data that are.
So you have the voice of the Member of Parliament for Okaigwe Central, Patrick Boama, emphasizing the need to stop injecting foreign exchange into the economy and allowing the cedi to adjust naturally to reflect its true value. Away from the cedi being allowed to reflect its true value, let's go to Beijing, where the Member of Parliament for Dade Kotupon, Ritana Adolesoa, stated that the Beijing Lagoon Redevelopment Project can create jobs for residents rather than being a source of mismanagement. She made this comment after the authorities demolished illegal structures along the lagoon, citing the need to prevent flooding and also ensure public safety. The Greater Accra Regional Security Council, along with the National Security and National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, carried out the demolition, emphasizing that the interests of the wider public outweighed those of a few individuals. The MP who is also the Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, has been advocating for a proper management of the lagoon to benefit the community. Let's go to Kweshi.
And I think the situation has gotten worse, and we need to be law-abiding and to ensure that we keep our environment clean. We can develop this place where people will get jobs to do without mismanaging the place. And so for me, I'm for the fact that we need to sit down, have a design to ensure that people can apply their activities in a very cordial way. But what we see now is a nuisance, to be honest. And notice has been served. The Assembly has served notice several times. I remember during my first term in Parliament, we used to come here and they assured us that they were not going to come back. But as if, I'm sure you saw the pictures before the demolition exercise. So my people need to stand with us to ensure that we create proper jobs for them. So that is what I have to say.
I have a question. I spoke to some of them earlier on, and they mentioned that they were in wait of a letter that would give them a week advance or something to move the properties out. However, the time hasn't elapsed yet, and they come to find this dawn that their properties are being destroyed. What do you have to say to them?
So I'm not aware of the letter given to them, but I believe the information I have, the Assembly said they have served notice several. And so sometimes we serve notice, sometimes we write remove. I've been an MCE before, and we relax a bit to see if the people will go out themselves. So as we relax, they think maybe the exercise will not be carried out. And so for me, I'm aware the Assembly gave them notice, but as to whether the notice, the time elapsed or not, I'm not aware of that. But I know my RM and the Assembly will not do anything untoward that will just destroy people's things. But I believe those who still have their things, they should remove them to ensure that we'll sit down and have an amicable solution with LECMA and then LADA. So we'll engage them to see what they have to do. And like I'm saying, if RM will agree with me, we'll sit down, sanitize the place. Because you travel outside, the river bodies are well taken care of, and then there are activities that are around the river bodies that create employment and will generate more revenue. And so we would not leave the place vacant. Otherwise, over the years, they will come back again. I recall some years back, there were even estate houses here. They were all demolished because this is the bank of the river. And when you go inside there, a lot of things are going on there. And when it rains, then there's flooding, the drains are choked, and the same people are calling the assemblies to come to them, to their aid. And so they should exercise patience, we'll sit down and have a good plan for the area to ensure that we live in a sanitized community.
All right, so that is MP for the Greater Accra talking about the issues that has to do with Kweshi, where the exercise is ongoing. He's a member of parliament for Dade Kotopon, and also doubles as the Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, sharing her thoughts and sentiment after the demolition, trying to get people off the waterways. Away from the Kweshi, let's move straight away to Pandai, when the Member of Parliament for Pandai, Matthew Yindam, has revealed he is facing pressure from senior colleagues who wants him out of Parliament. He believes his work for the people is being misunderstood and has rejected attempt to force him out, stating he's in Parliament by the people's choice. Yindam's comment come after the Supreme Court overturned a High Court ruling that annulled his election, citing judiciary issues. The court upheld Yindam's application, effectively cancelling the proposed rerun of the election. We take a listen to the Member of Parliament for Pandai.
More calm than before. People that I used to talk to, people that I thought were all together, I've seen that it's not the same. Not the minority side. It's not going to be the same. But you see, we are colleagues. We are all members of parliament, and we all know how we struggled to win a seat in Ghana's parliament. It's not easy. Yeah. And for you to deliberately decide that, look, I must get my colleague out of parliament for no reason, I find it difficult. Because I don't know why you will want me out of parliament. I have not offended you. You don't come from the area. You don't know the geographical area of the place. You don't know what I do for the people. And for some reason, you have taken it as a project that you don't want to see me in parliament. Let me tell you, when we started this 9th parliament, a colleague approached me and told me that, look, we will get you out of this parliament. Even before this case started. And I told him that, my brother, did you see me here during the 8th parliament? When I lost, did you see me here? I have no business here when I lost the 8th parliament. I am here because the people asked me to come. But since you say you are going to get me out of here, you are not my God. Let my God speak for me. That's what a colleague tells you.
And so you heard the voice of the man, Patrick Matthew Yindam of Bandai, the MP for the area, talking about the pressures that he goes through. He reveals the pressure from senior colleagues and court battles. But thank God this matter has been brought to a friction. You can also join us on 053-715-8638. The numbers you can call us. We can have a conversation. Now let's dive into the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, addressed the media today, the January 29th, to outline key issues relating to the party's ongoing reorganization process. The party's General Secretary, Fifi Fiavikwete, announced that government appointees seeking party executive position must resign at least 6 months before internal elections. The affected categories include ministers, deputy ministers, chief executive officers, managing directors, metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives, excluding board chairpersons and members. The NDC reorganization process aims to promote fairness, reduce greed, and ensure equal opportunity for all deserving members. The party will hold its National Delegate Congress on December 19, 2026 to elect new national officers. So we go listen to the General Secretary, Fifi Fiavikwete.
1 week to be able to complete the forms. So at the constituency level, 1 week will be provided after the 17th September, and they will be expected to to complete all the forms. Number 3, filing of nomination. That is due to be done on Wednesday, 23rd September and Thursday, 24th September. That's for the filing of nomination. The next is vetting. Vetting is scheduled to be on Friday, 25th September through to Sunday, 27th September. Vetting across all constituencies will be done. Next, we'll provide opportunity for appeals. I mean, for people who feel that maybe something has gone right and they want to make an appeal, they'll be given an opportunity to have those appeals heard between Tuesday, 29th September to Thursday, 1st October 2026. Then the final one, and the most important of them, are the elections at the constituency level. And the dates for the elections at the constituency level will be Saturday, the 24th, and Sunday, the 25th October 2026. So that is for the first floor of the building. Having built the foundation, now we move to the first floor. Now, the next one is the regional elections timetable. Here again, we go through the same process, starting with the opening of nomination at the regional level. The opening of nomination expected to happen on Tuesday, the 6th October, through to the following day, 7th October 2026. No opening of nominations at the regional level. The next will be the completion of forms, and that, just like in the constituency case, the case of the constituency, 1 week will be provided for all of those forms to be completed. 3, we have the filing for regional elections. And this is scheduled to happen between Wednesday, 14th of October and Thursday, 15th October. So 2 days will be provided for the filing of the regional elections. Then vetting of regional aspirants. The date is Friday, the 16th October, and the following day, Saturday, 17th October. Then the appeals will be done on Sunday, the 18th October, and Monday, the 19th October. That's for the appeals. Then we move to the Regional Youth and Women Conference. That normally we do that for the women and the youth. Then we do the broad regional elections. So the first one, which has to do with the date for the Regional Youth and Women Conference, will be Friday, 13th November 2026. So across all of our regions, we'll have Regional Youth and Women Conference to elect our regional youth leaders and women, who are going to be in charge, the women organizers. Then the final one will be the date for the regional elections. That will be Saturday, the 14th of November, and Sunday, the 15th of November. So by the close of that Sunday, the party will be in a position to have all of our regional executives across the country elected. Now we move to the final floor of the building. And the final floor is the national elections. So again, opening of nomination for the national elections, the date is 20th, that's Tuesday the 20th of October to Wednesday the 21st of October. Opening of national nomination for the national elections. Then completion of forms. Because it's national, it means you have to literally go across the country. We're giving a little more time, so 2 weeks instead of the 1 week that was given at the level of the constituency in the region. So 2 weeks will be given for the completion of the forms in order to be able to move across all the existing regions of the country. Then the filing for national elections, Saturday the 7th of November through to Monday the 9th of November 2026. That will be for the filing for national elections. Then we have the vetting for national aspirants. The vetting will take place on Thursday, the 12th of November, and the following day, Friday, the 13th November, 2026. Then we have number 5, appeals. Appeals will be done on the Sunday, the 15th of November, and Monday, the 16th November 2026.
So you had Fifi Fiavi-Kwetey, the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC. The NDC has also directed its appointees seeking party executive position to resign at least 6 months before the internal election. The NDC General Secretary Fifi Kwetey announced that the party will hold its delegate conference on December 19. The move aims to promote fairness, discipline, transparency within the party, ensuring party office holders can focus on their duty ahead of the 2028 general election. Let's take a listen to him again.
And for absolute clarity, those intending to contest at the constituency level who fall in the category out, and for absolute clarity, those intending to contest at the constituency level who fall in the category I just mentioned, the 3 categories I mentioned, those intending to contest at the constituency level shall resign by April 2026. Those intending to contest at the regional level shall resign by May 2026. And those intending to contest at the national level shall resign by June 2026. These provisions are firm, constitutional, and enforced without exception. So please don't even bother to come and see whether you can plead to be exempted, because there's no plea in this matter. Now, call to party officials and members. This reorganization process, ladies and gentlemen, demands discipline, integrity, fairness, and collective responsibility.
All right, so we had a fifth equity of the NDC. Now the phone line is activated. NDC bans government appointees from contesting the December post. If you want to contest, you resign 6 months before the internal election. 0537158638 is the numbers. 0537158638 is the numbers. You can call us now and also share your thoughts with all the stories from the African Trade Summit through to Yinnam, Peishi, Lagoon issue, the demolition issues. We went to the camps of the NDC and we're back in studio. The MPP, remember, after tomorrow, we're going to the polls. Who wins? MPP decide on Saturday, January 31st, 2026, as to who wins or leads the MPP come to election 2028 will be decided on Saturday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. when polls closes across the 333 polling station with 211,849 people. The Minister for Finance, Dr. Kessler Forson, has signed a $12.83 million grant with the African Development Bank ADFB to finance feasibility studies and design development for major projects under the government Big Push. The agreement was signed with the AFDB outgoing country manager, Fasika. The grant will support detailed feasibility studies, including full design, costing and environmental and social impact assessment for a proposed interchange at the 37 military hospital aimed at easing traffic congestion in the capital. It will also fund feasibility studies and full design of redevelopment of our 4 modern markets at Agbogbloshie, Techiman, Sekondi, and Mankasim, as well as comprehensive study for special agro-industry processing zone in the Afram Plains in Sawom and Bulsa. Dr. Forson expressed appreciation to the AFDB on behalf of the President, John Dramani Mahama, and the people of Ghana for the bank's continual partnership. 0537158638 is the numbers. Also, ubechumi afre na wachre wadin. We move to other matters where suspend mandatory marine insurance. Some major trade and business associations have called on the Ministry of Finance to suspend its directive mandating compulsory local marine cargo insurance for all imports into Ghana, citing concerns over rising business costs and lack of stakeholder consultation. The Coalition of Concerned Exporters, Importers and Traders and Freight Forwarders, alongside the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, the Trade Advocacy Group Ghana, TAG, says the policy should be withdrawn ahead of its planned 1st February 2026 implementation to allow broader engagement with industry players. So that is the call that is coming in from them. 0537158638. Numbers also over to me a friend watch wadri. Ewo ene enumre nkobodi a yedi efa OSP so wajiji adan cars, fuel stations. If you want more, a bit more investigating more than one court. Or also, as the president does say one private member bill na anko so na anko for way to Jubia Amba. OSP say we're saving Ghana 20 times more than invested in us. At forcing us signing $12.83 million AFDB grant for Big Push projects. Now, NDC are banning appointees from contesting party executive position. UDS administrators Ebaki GTech boss Professor Abdullahi. The University for Development Study local branch of the Ghana Association of University Administrators has formally declared its full and unqualified support for Professor Ahmed Junapo Abdullahi as the Director of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC. While another arm of the same university are against his tenure. Ghana is an interesting place to be. 0537158638. Aya numbers are also over to me any attrition income aya ene anumre enchibia miss sorry jumedi so very soon I will be leaving the saddle. The Eastern Regional Minister Rita Akwesua Awete has announced plans to rename and redesign the DVLA runabout in Koforidua in honor of the late former Minister for Defense, Dr. Edward Kofi Omani-Boama. In a statement reflecting on the life and service of the late statesman, the regional minister says the decision is aimed at preserving Dr. Omani-Boama's legacy, recognizing his immense contribution to the national development and Eastern region in particular. A truck driver, a tragic incident at Tech Junction in Kumasi has claimed the life of a commercial vehicle conductor. The incident occurred when the conductor reportedly jumped out of a moving trotro in an attempt to register for the next load. He is said to have slipped, falling beneath the vehicle's wheel, after which the trotro collided with another commercial vehicle loading passengers at the station. An eyewitness, Madame Ellen, a lotto operator at the station, said the conductor's decision to alight from the moving vehicle proved fatal. The maid jumped out of the moving van to register for the next load, but he slipped and fell. Their own vehicle hit him, and as he tried to get up, another van behind also ran him over, she explained. The victim was rushed to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Police have since launched investigation to determine the circumstance surrounding his death. So may his soul rest in peace. The Ghana Gold Board has announced the deployment of inspectors nationwide from Monday, February 2nd, 2026 to clamp down on unlicensed jewelry manufacturers, fabricators, and gold refinery operating in the country. The move follows concerns by the board that several operators in the gold value chain are conducting business without valid licenses, contrary to provision of Act 1140. In the light of that, a team of Gold Board inspectors will be deployed from Monday to ensure that the only duly licensed persons engaged in jewelry manufacturers, gold fabrication, gold refinery businesses in Ghana. The board said in a compliance notice issued on January 28, 2026, Gold Board reminded the public that only entities duly licensed by the board are authorized to engage in gold trading, jewelry manufacturing, fabrication, and refinery, warning that operating without approval constitutes an offense punishable under the law. And now when it comes to the aviation sector, Air Tanzania has begun operations in Ghana. The Tanzanian national carrier Air Tanzania has officially commenced flight operations to Ghana, inaugurating Dar es Salaam Lagos Accra route to Kotoka International Airport. The commencement of the flight between the two countries comes at a time when Ghana is seeking to open its door to other African countries for trade, tourism, and regional integration. The inaugural flight, which happened on Wednesday, January 28th, was welcomed with a symbolic water cannon, salute, and a cultural performance, marking the beginning of a new air link between the two countries. Air Tanzania is expected to operate 3 weekly flights, Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. The launch ceremony was attended by key dignitaries, including the Minister of Trade, Joseph Bakari, Minister for Tourism, Minister for Transport, Joseph Bakari Nipe, Minister for Tourism, Jifa Gobashi, Yvonne Nana Efri Opari, also present with Reverend Stephen Wilfred Atta, the Managing Director of Ghana Airports Company Limited and Director General of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. The Tanzania delegation was led by Professor Makami Mbarua, the Minister of Transport, Tanzania, and His Excellency Celestina Grivas Kakeli, High Commissioner to the United Republic of Tanzania to Nigeria. You're still live on MBN TV, and we're coming to you live from the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Nungwa Adogon, and taking us to the final stretch of this evening edition of the News Focus, live and direct from our studios here. Gradually, the time is creeping in, and I might be saying goodbye to you as we sojourn for God and for country. Now we're moving to the final bit of our conversation. Once upon a time, Honorable Baba Jamal was serving over 13 million Ghanaians comfortably stationed in Nigeria's Ghana's High Commission, shaking hands, cutting diplomatic ribbons, and representing the nation on an international stage, a high calling, some might say. Then suddenly, entitlement struck, not in Abuja, not in Accra, but somewhere between Nima traffic and nomination forms. Now Baba Jamal tells us his true burning motivation is to serve Ayawaso East, a constituency he already tried for, lost, and is now re-entering through the narrow door opened by the unfortunate death of MP. According to him, this is not ambition. Oh no, this is humanism. One can't help but marvel at this divine downsizing of service. Because really, how does one wake up and say, serving Ghana in Nigeria, too broad, too global, too much? Let me focus on the constituency that hasn't even agreed it wants me yet. If this is what sacrifice looks like, then the rest of us clearly don't understand politics. The explanation we were told is that Ayawaso needs credible leadership. Fair enough, but here is the awkward question no one is asking enough. Was the High Commissioner role too heavy, too demanding, too huge? Because normally politicians fight tooth and nail to upgrade from constituency to cabinet, from cabinet to diplomacy, from diplomacy to something even bigger. Baba Jamal appears to be pioneering a new political theory, reverse ambition. And let's be honest, this isn't even a guarantee seat. This is by-election against all other aspirants, with history not expectedly on his side. So one must ask, if he loses again, does Ghana get its High Commissioner back? Or was that chapter quietly closed the moment the nomination forms were picked? I doubt very much he is packing his bag for Abuja if Ayawaso says no again. Politics doesn't usually work like that, which is why some Ghanaians are reasonably confused and mildly amused. If your heart is no longer in Nigeria, then perhaps the honorable thing is simple. Resign properly, allow President Mahama to appoint someone ready to actually stay and do the job. Public service, after all, is not a part-time hobby or a political waiting room. But then again, politicians have a special talent for surprising us. Just when you think they have seen it all, someone leaves a continental stage to an audition again for a local role and call it destiny. If you don't like someone, you don't like someone. And some political moves, they don't inspire confidence, they inspire menace. Ghana politics never fails to entertain. And that's how we're going to put a curtain on today's edition of News Focus tonight. Remember, News Focus comes your way Monday through to Friday from 9 to 10 p.m. Then Zoe Moment comes right after it. But tomorrow, God willing, on the Morning Focus, we'll be here to have a bigger, insightful conversations. The cocoa farmers saying they are not being paid. We'll try to go to the Association of Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association, talk to the public relations officer to throw more light on this matter so that we'll bring a finality, a closure. But most of our viewers and our callers from the cocoa growing areas have shown this frustration. So tomorrow we try to get a PRO to explain to us as to why government haven't paid the cocoa farmers, or as to whether government has paid and they are making it look like government has not. Whichever way, we'll try to unravel this mystery. Tomorrow morning by 7 a.m. we'll have that conversation. Then at 8 a.m. we'll be joining a colleague from the Hawk, editor from the Hawk newspaper. We'll also be joining us. We're trying to fine-tune the challenges, the road to 2028 that has been initiated by the New Patriotic Party, the NPP. Saturday, they will decide who leads them as they go into 2028. This way time will permit me to come your way with tonight's edition of the News Focus. I believe it's been a wonderful journey being with you from 9 to 10. My name is El Samuels. When you stop to say a prayer, say one for me. But always don't forget to say a prayer with every heartbeat. Up next is Zoe Moment. Have a good night.